This is Rom Wills coming back at you with yet another video. Black women calling for a boycott of the Black Panther movie. You know what? Someone came across my social media feed, right? My Facebook feed. Apparently there was some hoo-ha about Michael B. Jordan, who's playing the villain in the upcoming Black Panther movie, dating some IG model named Ashley Castro, right? And apparently, notice I'm saying apparently, some black women have called for a boycott of the movie. And I'm saying apparently. I'm going to tell you why I'm saying this, because there's two angles with this. I'll go with the surface angle first, black women, right? Or some black women calling for a boycott of it, right? To me, it's very hypocritical because, okay, say he's dating this woman, because apparently it's allegedly dating this. I don't think anything has been confirmed. Okay, even if he is, first of all, the same black women were praising Meghan Markle, whatever her name is, that's about to get hitched to Prince Harry of England, right? If you did a side-by-side comparison of this woman that Michael B. Jordan is supposedly dealing with and Meghan Markle, shoot, Ashley Castro actually looks blacker if you want to be technical, and probably has more black blood, to be honest. But you have some black women praising one but vilifying the other, which is a double standard that gotta stop. Because I've known throughout the years, I've known several black women who would suck their teeth, get pissed when some brother was with a white woman, even if they didn't know the brother. And then at the same time, as soon as any average white guy even says hi their way, look their way, they like hee hee hee, and then praising it when they see it in the media or something. So that's the first angle. That's the first angle. Now, say they talk about it and they organize it and they like, yeah, we're gonna boycott it. You're not really hurting just Michael B. Jordan, who once again isn't playing in the title role. You hurting people like what's that dude, Chadwick Boseman, who's playing the Black Panther. And I actually looked it up. I was trying to find an image. You can't hardly find an image of him with a white woman. Now, they ain't sure who he's dating or if he's even dating, but every image you see of him in public with a woman is a black woman. So you hurting him. You know, you got people like Forrest Whitaker in there, who's been a long time married to a black wife. Now, forget the men in it. You got some black women talking about boycotting it, yet you also boycotting Angela Bassett. Angela Bassett has done nothing but play positive black role models. You know, you talking about boycotting Lupita Nyong'o. Shoot, that's a chocolate sister, fine chocolate sister, right? You talking about boycotting a whole bunch of women in there. You talking about boycotting a black director who has a black wife. You know, so that's, I'm like asking about this. And even beyond the actors, you boycotting that story. You know, you talking about a movie that will show black people with agency. You know, they not the sidekicks. You know, they not the buffoons. You talking about black people running stuff. You showing this on celluloid. This is powerful. And you talking about boycotting it? And there's a particular part because, a lot of these women talking about boycotting, they on some pseudo feminist or outright feminist thing. And, they the same type talk about women empowerment. One of the key parts of the whole Black Panther mythology in the comic books are his all-female bodyguards, the Dora Milaje. Now, these are some bad sisters. Now, I've read a few Black Panther comics, right? There's sometimes Black Panther wouldn't even bother fighting. He'd let them handle it. They were bad. In fact, I think somebody did a comic book series just on them. These are some bad sisters. And, you talking about boycotting it, yet some of these same women have daughters who want to see the positive image of some black women kicking ass. Shoot, it should be a feminist porn to them, really. Hell, maybe dudes need to boycott it. Seriously. Nah, I'm just joking. Don't do that. Don't do that, y'all. But anyway, right? So you got that image, which the Dora Milaje is actually based on some real life African history. The Dahomey Amazons. Y'all need to look it up. A lot of these women up here talking about boycott this and that don't even know the history. Now the Dahomey Amazons, they were from the kingdom of Dahomey. That's it's in present day, what was in present day Benin now, right? Those sisters were bad. Those sisters, they were bad. People fought them. Even if they beat them, they would say, nah, those were some warriors. So you talking about boycotting, not showing this image, not showing some black people with some agency. You're talking about boycotting, even though Disney's behind it, they have a black director, his vision, a black director with a black wife. You talking about boycotting some powerful black actors, Forrest Whitaker, Angela Bassett, who are married to black people. You know, and on the business side, if that show, if it doesn't do well, then we don't see movies like that again for maybe another generation. Because Hollywood, people call it racist. They can say whatever. At the bottom line is money. If they see it doesn't make money, we ain't seeing it again. And we've seen this before. We've seen this with other things like Red Tails, what George Lucas tried to do, who, you know, incidentally had a black wife. And you've seen, it's so many. It's so many. But I wanted to get with some other stuff, though, too. But, see, here's the thing with that, too. Now, I said there's like several angles to this. It might not really be black women, or they could be under the, shall we say, influence of maybe some racist whites. Now, I want y'all to think about it, because understand something. What's this movie showing? Black people with agency. Black, any movies, you got to understand, movies are propaganda. Movies are propaganda. Those images are calculated. Anybody who doubts that, all you have to do is look up the history of the first birth of a nation. We won't get into the last birth of a nation by Nate Parker that black women wanted to boycott because he had a white wife and all that crap. The first one, 1915, that led to a resurgence of the Ku Klux Klan. A movie that was shown in the Wilson White House. Look it up. So these movies are powerful. Now understand something. You could have some forces out there who don't want this movie to be shown, because think about the image. All you need is 13 black boys and girls. 13, I'm saying 13, who can watch that movie, be inspired to do some stuff on their own. Think about it. Movies are powerful. Like, we've never seen a real movie with the Haitian Revolution. Think about it. We got documentaries. A notable one is the recent one by Tariq Nasheed. The 1804 movie. But that's still a documentary. They have reenactments and all of that, but it's still a documentary. Danny Glover wanted to do a Haitian Revolution movie, but he could not get backing because they said there were no white heroes in it. But see, here's the thing with it. There were no white heroes in that instance, the Haitian Revolution. And that was a powerful thing. But we've never seen a movie of that. That really shaped the Western Hemisphere. The Haitian Revolution shaped the Western Hemisphere. People would not be going down to the Essence Jazz Fest in New Orleans but for the Haitian Revolution. Because the Haitians kicked the ass of Napoleon, also kicked the ass of the British and the Spanish. The French, they were, shall we say, inspired to get rid of some land in the United States. It's called the Louisiana Purchase. That can be traced back to the Haitian Revolution. Also, the Haitian Revolution inspired many revolutions in South America. So that's a powerful event, but we haven't seen a movie because what type of image does it show? It shows a successful slave rebellion. And what that say to other people? All of a sudden people see that and they're inspired. Movies are inspired now. Movies are propaganda. Right? Now, there was another movie And this one came out more recent years. Back, when did that movie come out? This was late '90s, I think. Yeah, late '90s. Sankofa. And that's a hard movie. A lot of people don't know about that movie. But I remember talking with one of the people who had a connection to it. Several copies of that movie were destroyed in a warehouse fire. And that was a movie that showed as like slaves constantly. It was a slave. It was a movie about a woman who was going back in time, psychically reliving some lives of some a couple slaves, and it showed blacks constantly rebelling, and it was a powerful. It wasn't no roots. It wasn't any roots, but check it out. Many copies were destroyed in a fire, and actually, I'm still pissed that I loaned a copy out to somebody still haven't seen it back again. So, yeah, put it out there. And then more recent time, there was a movie. It was in the '70s. It was called "The Spook Who Sat by the Door." Now, a friend of mine, I don't know how true this is, but a friend of mine said, like in Chicago, they were showing it at a theater, and gang members surrounded the theater to keep the FBI from snatching it. And if you look up the history of that movie, it lasted at theaters maybe a week. They snatched that movie quick because The Spook Who Sat by the Door was a story about a black man who was recruited to the CIA, really to fill a quota, to show that they were integrated. And his job was literally sit by the door to show, hey, we got a black agent. Even though he was an agent, but they basically had him as a glorified administrative assistant, right? But what he did in that movie, he learned all about warfare and everything. He learned all about how to create a revolutionary movement. So what he did, he left the CIA. Then he made contact with a street gang, taught him everything that the CIA taught him, and then members of that street gang went out across the country and taught other street gangs. And for years, you couldn't get a copy. You couldn't get a copy of that movie in the United States. If you were lucky, you had to find one of those old video places. Like I found a copy of one of those old like mom and pop video places, and like you could rent it out there. And trust me, it was in a black neighborhood. And if you wanted to buy it, you were paying like $50 back then for it. Seriously, it wasn't no DVD. We talking old Beta, really. Some old heads remember what Beta is, but it was that powerful image people had to stop. So with this thing with the Black Panther, it could be some sisters. It could be some sisters, sisters who can't see past their nose, or it could be some racists trying to like really stop that image from being presented. Because remember how crazy racists became when the Star Wars: The Force Awakens came out, and everybody thought that brother was going to be the Jedi. People are losing their mind. People are even still losing their mind over the Black Panther. So that could be anything, or it could be a combination of both. There's many who think you get a lot of so-called feminists who are really working for white supremacists. It could be a whole bunch of things. But what the bottom line is, if you're getting stuff like this, there's something about it, because the images are important. The images are important because, like I said, it comes down, it's bigger than just entertainment. That's why I did reviews of like She's Gotta Have It, Insecure. That's why I said I wouldn't watch Issa Rae's new thing, because it's an image being put out there. And like I said, anybody who doubts that, and they might even have a copy of, somebody might have I guarantee somebody probably uploaded it on YouTube. Look up Birth of a Nation by D.W. Griffith. Look it up. I mean, that movie was so deep. I actually studied that in a film class in college. That's how deep it was. So understand, this ain't about some people trying to use that whole, you got one of the people dating like a non-black woman and say, oh, we should boycott it. But trust me, there's an agenda. Now, where the exact agenda is, who knows where it's coming from? Because like I said, sometimes it could look like one thing and it's really something behind it. But whatever the case, or it could be all of those things included. But we got to peep that game. We got to peep that game. And if you're a Black Panther fan or a superhero fan, you should go check it out. Because I guarantee you, I've heard a lot of whites ready to go see that thing. Because they ain't feeling the same thing. But it's important. You know what is important? I mentioned those 13 blacks who see it and do something great. Because that's all you need. And that's something for my Deep Thought channel. Because they don't take much to change everything. It really don't. And I ain't talking about a leader, but it's a deeper science there. Right? But if they see that image is positive, boom. So, you know what? Just keep that in mind when you hear stuff like this. Always think about, don't get into the gender war thing or those feminists or even that white supremacy. Always think about the political angle. Always think about the image. Always think critically. Why? And if there's some people sincere and there's some women sincere about that, you need to think critically and learn your history. Like I say, if you will go see, if anybody who know that Black Panther mythology, women should be flocking to it. They should be, just like they flocked to Waiting to Exhale back in the day, they should be flocking to it. Because like I said, Black Panther's bodyguards, the security force, the Dora Milaje, they based on some real life history. So, but that's all I had to say about this, y'all. All right? Anyway, I'll talk to y'all. Peace and blessings.